Hello, welcome back to Brit Reviews It All. Right now, I'm reviewing Couples Retreat on VH1. This will be the second season, and this is the first episode, season two, titled "Dig a Little Deeper." I did watch the first season that was hosted by Yandy and Mendices. This season is it's hosted by Michael Blackson and Ryder. They are the first to come on and start speaking, introducing the episode. So, in them coming onto the screen and speaking, we find out that the both of them they are engaged. He actually proposed to her on the Breakfast Club. So we'll see what happens with those two's relationship. So they, come in and they start showing all of the different couples that are going to be featured on the show. Looks like they're going to have a really good lineup. So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen in this season. So let me make sure I get their names right. So we have Michael and Ryder, Styles P and Aja. Oh my God, I forgot how to say her name. I will get it right. Um, I've seen them before on a whole nother TV show related to marriage counseling, something of that nature. But I cannot remember how to say her name. I'm going to try to pronounce it the best way I can and also remember it for the next episode that I'll review. So I am so sorry. But they come on. You have Nick Young and Kiana. You also have Ronnie DeVoe and Shamari, who used to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Shamari also did the encore as well. I watch both. Um, Claudia Jordan and KJ. I recognize Claudia Jordan because I do watch TGIF on YouTube with Funky Dunnivan and the names. I'm forgetting names, but I watched that show, and Claudia was also on Real Housewives of Atlanta, who way back. So I think that was Jess and her boyfriend Daniel, or calls him Danny. So they introduce all of the couples. Looks like it's gonna be a good group of people. Gonna give us some good content. Okay, so then they pretty much just start showing all of the couples going into their suites. Shamari, she immediately is just like, I'm just so happy to finally, have some time with just them two. Versus at home, they're always, they're working, they're with their children. They have two twin boys who take up a lot of their time and clearly a lot of space, though they don't really get the opportunity to just have some them time. Um, and let's see what else was going on around that time. Styles P and his wife. I'm just gonna say his wife for right now until I recall how to say her name properly. Um, they show them in their room, and apparently Styles P had some flowers delivered to her door. Um, I really almost thought that I was thinking that he didn't do that, and but he just let her believe that he did, but maybe he did. I don't know. Then we see Nick and Kiana. They're going into their room, and then we get a really good view of the room that they have, which was actually very nice and spacious. The weather looks really good wherever they are. I'm like, where are y'all? Because I don't know if I heard him say, and maybe Michael did say where they were, and I didn't catch it. But it looks like a really beautiful place, a really nice place to have a nice resort to do this couples retreat. Going back to Nick and Kiana, they said that they are actually high school sweethearts. They had been on and off in a relationship for years. They have three kids together. She stated that he's no longer playing basketball, which I haven't been following basketball, so I didn't know that. Um, but he is a very popular basketball player, so I was aware of who he is. Um, but he's not playing anymore, so he's at home more, and so now she's just like, all right, well, Now that you're home, she's more in a space to where she's ready to start doing more for herself. Um, would love to, that's a part of the issue that they have, because yeah, he's at home, but he's not trying to step into that role and really support her. That's what I got out of what she was saying at that moment. Then they bring in Claudia and KJ. Immediately, Claudia is already throwing it out there like he ready to get to it, saying that that was something that they needed, to just get away. They had already been talking about trying therapy, but between the two of them, no one actually took the step to initiate it. Um, she basically said, I mean, people always ask them, hey, when are you guys getting married? Are you having children? And she's pretty much just saying, I don't have an answer to that, which would lead you to believe that they've never even talked about it. But I would hope that they've talked about it at some point. Jess comes in, showing her and her boyfriend. They walk into their room, just kind of looking at the space. She basically starts to talk about their relationship and saying that she is actually the affectionate person, and she likes to give affection, but he is the opposite of her. He's not affectionate at all. Um, and then we hear from her that she makes the time to spend time with him, even though she's the very busy person. He has never been to one of her shows. She does comedy shows. Um, I know just from Wildin' Out, but I've never actually seen her comedy set. Um, and he pretty much says, well, hey, I don't have the time, I'm raising a child. She says that yes, he is raising I think a 17-year-old boy, but she said, okay, at the end of the day, I'm a celebrity, you're a regular degular, you ain't, I mean, almost basically saying, boy, you regular, you ain't nobody, I'm a whole superstar, or I'm a celebrity out here, and I'm able to make time for you, but you can't make time for me. Something is wrong with that picture right there. um they go into the couples meeting up. Looks like they did like a little mingling thing to just kind of just introduce each other. um and then it was really funny to see how Styles P and Ronnie were in their confessionals basically fanning over each other. That was so crazy, but cool. You're not too cool to really say, "Hey, dude, I'm a fan. I am a fan." Um, and then here comes Michael Blackson, of course, with his jokes. That's what he does. As we are seeing, just it does the same thing. They literally go back, and it brings a little bit of humor to the situation, even though they're there for very serious and in some cases heavier conversations that need to be had. But when Jess and Danny come in, they're walking, they're outside, by the way, they're coming in, and Michael Blackson literally calls Danny a ghetto baby face. Funny. Then we get the behind the scenes after everyone has left from mingling, from the mingle meetup that they had. Everybody is in good energy, good spirits. Seems like they're excited to be there. They feel good about the group of people that are there and comfortable. Um, so that's cool. And so then we hear them, going into the everything with KJ and Claudia. I mean, with the way that their relationship is, I'm just wondering, like, is the way that they speak to each other, is it more of being sarcastic and that's how they show their affection to each other? Or are they just literally just like that with each other because they're I don't know. Something is, and maybe like I said, it just could be how they are in their relationship, and that is fine. But for the viewers, we don't know them personally like that, so we're kind of like, I was kind of like, okay, something is just very strange about this. And then in the confessional, KJ's confessional, for them to say, "Would you marry Claudia?" And him to just sit there and be like, would I marry Claudia? Um, and he never actually say yes or no, but I'm just like, okay, KJ, he has to be messing with the audience, messing with the producers when he's having these responses like this, because I'm like, if you are putting all your time into this one person, I would hope that you have more to say than just that, or you do have love for that person, or you loved that individual. Um, and if you didn't feel like, if you're not into them like that, I would think that you wouldn't be with her at all. Um, so that's just kind of like, okay, well, maybe that's just how they are in their relationship, and that's how he is when it comes to asking him personal questions. That's his way, like, of deflecting. So then they have the couples that come back to do a dinner. Michael and Jess immediately they start cracking on each other. So like I said, I like that they added her in, because it does bring in a little bit more comedy to it. Even though in first season Michael Blackson, that was pretty much his thing. That's what he does. Um, they let us know that AJ is coming, but she is bringing someone along with her. They didn't say who it was at that time. And then, of course, the couples, as they're eating their dinner, they go ahead and they get into, they're getting ready to eat dinner and have drinks and everything. So they start getting into just, discussing everything with each other, just talking, open conversation. Um, Jess notices that Ryder did not have her ring on, and because they had just congratulated them for getting engaged, and just noticed it, and it was just like a pause. Um, so we find out from Ryder that before they got there, she actually, and she's saying this in her confessional, but she will share it with everyone. She did share it with everybody. She basically said that before they got there, they got into an argument. Michael said, "You know how it is when you get engaged to somebody, and when they get mad at you, they want to take their ring off. The ring probably come on and off multiple times before y'all even get married." I hope that's not the case for everybody, but obviously it happens. Um, so she basically says that they had an issue before getting there, because Michael had his side chick, did what he do. Nothing wrong with what he did for that. It was just some of the things that he did was against what she and him agreed on. They have an agreement that he can have one side chick a month, but it's just you have your fun with them and then one and done, and nothing more. They don't get to hang out with you. They don't get to eat dinner with you and mingle amongst, do what a girlfriend or a fiance or wife would do with you. They don't get those opportunities. That's not the agreement. Apparently, he did something of that nature. He had his fun with the girl. He The next day he took her to breakfast. She was able to hang out in the green screen room, which apparently that is their personal rooms in the back when they're doing their comedy shows. Um, and she said, absolutely not. So that is what was the issue. It wasn't the issue of him sleeping with the girl. It was the things that he did against what she was okay with. So when he shared the thing about him getting they have an agreement for him to have one side chick a month. Um, Everybody was just like, and we know why, because for most couples that is not a norm. But for some people, they are able to have an open relationship in that way. And my team, open relationship, absolutely not. That's not for me. But if that is what works for them, what I don't see what would be the issue with it. And it don't seem like anybody had an issue. It was just more so it's not the norm. It's not something you would normally hear. Especially with them getting engaged and everything, and you're trying to move take your relationship to another level. Um, it just kind of threw everybody off. So once they, shared that with the group, Ronnie decided to also share, that he understood, that how some things could kind of go wrong when you try to have an open relationship in that way, because him and Shamari tried it around their 7 years in a relationship. I don't know if they were married yes, they were married around the seventh year of marriage. That they wanted to try open relationship, but he said that it wasn't even him, it was her who got attached to the outside relationship, and it pretty much was moving them in the direction of about to get a divorce. Because at that point, he's like, all right, well, you're over here doing this. I'm about to dip out, and you can have all of that. But so he just pretty much said, we tried it. We thought it was going to be something great, but it just didn't work out for them in the end. And then everybody starts coming in with their comments, their questions. But that's typical. I mean, it's not something that's a norm. It's not a norm. And obviously you're going to have questions about it. You're going to know. It just, she was really, really coming with the questions, like in the reactions to what everybody was discussing. Michael was basically saying he was feeling judged by the regular couples who still live back in the olden days, saying some things like that. Funny, but I think at that point he was still serious. Like, okay, don't judge me for how my relationship is. This is what they have an agreement on. So they were talking about that, and then here comes AJ and John. They come out, so they introduce who the male person will be assisting with AJ throughout this process. So they go into wanting to, really come on in and get us started. So they decide to look into each couple's social media accounts to evaluate photos that they have found on their social media accounts. So they went down the line. Who they started with Mike and Ryder with a picture of them, and Mike, that it was a lot that came with that. So he's pretty much saying his face was like that because he's not a water person, but he was just really just trying to just taking the picture because she wanted to. She, on the other hand, was just basically like, in this picture, I'm really just confused as to what we're doing at the moment. Like, I'm just like, well, it sounds like you came into the relationship with an understanding, with one way of understanding that you're the main, and he has all of his side chicks, and that's fine. She was okay with it. Then it came to a point where you were ready to be more serious with him. You were okay with having a side chick here and there, but not all the time. So he was able to make an adjustment to cut down on that and say, okay, well, we can agree to once a month with a side chick, and but none of the extra little things in between. Do what you need to do and move on. And it's one time, and it's not a continued person. Not one person, it's a different person every time. Um, but it's almost like she's expecting that now that they are getting engaged, it seems to it seems like that's what she's wanting to say, but she's not saying that. She's saying something totally different. So it comes off as if she's more so wanting him to completely just not have that going on at all, no side chicks, and just them two. Which clearly that's going to be, it's not going to work for Michael because he has been very upfront about who he is and how he moves when it comes to women. Um, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so they move on to Ronnie and Shamari's picture, and it's a picture of them with their, I think they said their therapist or their life coach. And it was a good photo to say, they are the reasons for why we have those smiles on our faces. You know, we were able to come back and do better about our relation and come back and, you know, get right back into a good space in our relationship. Then they flash to a second photo where it's the two of them with their twin boys, but the twin boys are in the middle. And he said that is a representation of how as far as the intimacy levels, they are divided. They're separated because they have those two that they put all their focus into, and it causes for them to have a lack of intimacy in the relationship in their marriage. Then it comes into Styles P and his wife. I don't want to mess up her name again. She's pretty much saying with their photo, you know, it's a beautiful photo. They, you know, have running businesses together, but they work so much together on business that you don't want to lose the relationship side of it, right? Understood. KJ and Claudia, pretty much basically saying, and it's like a repeating thing with a lot of the couples, lack of intimacy. Jess and Daniel, just hilarious, and Daniel, lack of affection from his part. The photo that they showed, you can see her hugging on him, and he's like the total opposite. That picture, it spoke volumes. Nick and Kiana, she pretty much saying, I mean, he said it in the photo that they took. It was a Valentine's Day picture, but he did it because he felt like he was obligated to do it for everybody else. She's saying that, yeah, she can agree that that photo was fake because in real life, they're not on social media, the relationship, it is missing something. There is a lack of intimacy. They're pretty much like roommates. He didn't know she felt that way, so he pretty much was, you know, like, dang, okay. So that was, you know, something to spark a conversation between those two. Um, at the end, AJ and John, they, you know, kind of everybody they live. Um, they pretty much feel that they were everybody had a lot of the repeating things like intimacy, but she's saying it's actually their issues is actually deeper than that because there is something going on within the relationship that is causing the lack of intimacy. So she's like, that's just like the top. We're gonna dig, it's deeper than that. Understand why they named the episode dig a little deeper. Okay, now they go in, you know, everybody's leaving, going back to their rooms for the night. Through the episode, we did find out that Jess Hilarious and Michael Blackson, they both had already been had already signed up to do a show they could not change, so it was set in stone. So the both of them had to leave to go to their show, same exact show they had to go. So he's coming back, and him and Ryder, they're still, you know, talking about, you know, everything about the same thing. You could tell with Mike that he's just like, oh my God, like I'm at the point where, and she said he'll shut down. He's saying he's shutting down because he's tired of talking about the same thing. Trust him, and just if, but at the end of the day, if you don't like what he's doing or how he's moving, you can leave. Is pretty much what he said. Um, I mean, you made it very clear where you stood, but he just, if that's the agreement that y'all have, yes, it is true. He should stick to that because he shouldn't make her feel disrespected. If she's already laid out, this is what I'm comfortable with. Okay, so then Michael, don't push it. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. I was just like, dude, he's gonna get ready to go and do a whole show. Um, he don't he need to get his mind together before he gets ready to get on the stage, and he's sitting here bickering back and forth with you about this same thing that y'all have already talked about, and you keep talking about it. But I guess for the purposes of the show, yes, they do have to talk about it again and again and again. I got it. Then they jump over to Jess and Danny's room. Of course, like I said, she's gonna get ready to go, but she brings up about him pretty much sharing too much, um, with the whole mentioning of him that he had a threesome before. Honestly, I think she took it the wrong way. When he said that he had already experienced that and it was it was great or whatever, and she said that wasn't her question. Her question was, would he want to do one with her? Um, I don't think she understood what he was trying to say. I understood what he was trying to say, pretty much saying he wasn't interested in doing that. He's already lived that, or experienced that. And he's lived that part of his life. He's no longer interested in going, in doing that at all with any, with any other women, with anybody. He wants to just be with one person. Um, so, and he said, well, maybe I just didn't say it in the right way. She just immediately heard one thing and it just, her mind went somewhere else. She mentions Michael and Ryder. Um, I think everybody's going to be talking about the two of them because that is a major thing. It's not, like I said, it's not a norm, but there are couples out here who do have open relationships and it works for them. And of course, you're going to be curious about it. You're going to want to ask questions, and I understood that. Um, so then they start talking about, about the topic of happiness and what that means. For him, he pretty much said, well, he doesn't care about her happiness or making her happy. Um, I didn't understand that because if you're in a relationship, yes, you should want to make that other person happy. Getting married to someone just to make them happy, absolutely not. Both parties involved, that should be, you should be on the same page, right? So I kind of understood. Again, it might be another situation where he was trying to say one thing, but um, he just didn't say it right. And of course, she immediately took it the wrong way. But yeah, to say that you didn't care about her happiness, basically, that's a red flag. Um, but we'll see what happens with them. I'm definitely going to keep watching this season. I want to see what happens with everybody's relationship. Saw some clips that definitely were that caught my attention, so I want to see what happens with that. So okay, well, just want to say thank you for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your feedback. Definitely. If let's talk, let's chat about the episode. What do you think? Maybe I missed something somewhere within the episode. Let me know. But other than that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and bye. And talk to y'all next time.